What's up, y'all? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday was another good day for myself. I had the Pistons 5% minus 9.5. Relatively easy, won by double digits. So makes it now 7-1 in the playoffs. I think I won something like 12-2 or something like that last 14. So things are heading in the right direction. Vino, great to be back with you. How's everything on your end?
Good. Skee. Small win last night off of the split. Top play was Oklahoma City Phoenix over the total. Or excuse me, the Oklahoma City team total over. I think we discussed that on the show yesterday. Um, the smaller loss was the Jalen Duren points and rebounds, which I left here as a best bet yesterday. So apologize to the crowd. Duren only got to like 20. I forget, maybe 20, something in the 20s, but it wasn't enough to get to 30, which is what I needed. So we'll take the small profit. I think that makes my playoffs 6-4 right now. So we'll look to get on top of that here and spread that margin a little bit.
I got to talk about something here, Vino.
Oh boy.
So, two comments, one on the show right now and one from yesterday. Okay. I'm going to start with my guy, Prolific. Shout out to Prolific. He says, "What up, Ski? Don't hold out on us today. Give us a banger. And don't let the clowns in the chat get to you. You're better than that, real talk." So, the other comment from yesterday says, "Thank you, Vino, for actually giving a play."
Yeah. I read it. I read it.
This
Go
other
ahead.
guy did the same thing during Best Bets every damn day. Change the title to just NBA Breakdown. Hey, listen, there's usually 2 or 3 games a day, and I'm making probably one, maybe two plays a day. So am I supposed to give a 5% and have people go buy it and then come out and just give it on here for free? No, that's not how it works. So if you want, when I have one play, you see we're on WagerTalk, YouTube, you know where WagerTalk.com is, you know where to find it if you want one bet that I'm making. I can't come out here and just give you the one bet that I'm making that everybody else is paying for. It just doesn't work like that. So with that said, we'll move on to tomorrow unless there's anything else you want to add,
Nope. I didn't want to add anything when I read it. I don't want to add anything now. The only thing I will say is that we do this show together. I mean, I'm a guest on Skee's show basically every day, but we also do work for a company, and there's rules and guidelines you got to follow. People do buy these plays, and it'd be, very, very unfair to release a play as strong as the one Skee released, the 5%, and then just come on here and give it to everybody for free. It wouldn't make the customers and the long-term subscribers real happy. So that's the idea behind that. We're doing the best we can with 2-3 games, guys. We're doing the best we can. I didn't do real well for you yesterday, so I don't want to take any credit for giving out Jalen Duren points and rebounds.
if you're like Hayden, and you actually listen to when we're breaking down the games, you can go ahead and find those winners on your own. Says that's crazy. Somebody talks, I listen to your advice / lean on the under in the Pistons game and cashed easily. Yeah, we talked about it, right? In those good old breakdowns that the guy was talking about.
Yeah, they are
So if
good
you
old
listen,
breakdowns too.
you can make some money. You know what I'm saying?
I
If you want to
mean,
be, if you want the picks and don't want to hear anything, is the way to get them. When I can share, I absolutely will, but it just
hey
can't be
guys,
every day.
there's places where you can go and get zero breakdown and a lot of picks. And they're all over the place.
And there's
So
places where you can get picks that people are not betting. They just give them to you.
yeah,
I'm
and
putting
we'll
my
end it
money on
there.
everything I'm giving out.
Yeah,
I'm not just gonna give you something just to give it.
right, right.
All right. I think that's enough for today.
Yes.
Knicks and Hawks. This one opened up as a pick 'em. We now see the Knicks as a short favorite, 1 or 1.5. Total came down from 217 as low as 214.5. Injury report: Jock Landale still out for the Hawks, and I don't see anybody on there for the Knicks. Knicks, I feel like they had that game in the bag, and they just, I don't know, but I'm not surprised to see the Knicks lose that game. And a lot of it was CJ hunting Jalen Brunson. He feels very comfortable, like he said, when he sees him on the other side. So you get the Hawks now at home. Vino, I do think the Knicks are a better team than the Hawks. I still also think that the Knicks are very untrustworthy. I uh I know a lot of people are betting the Knicks today, and I understand why, but it would not surprise me if the Hawks win this game. What are you thinking about Knicks and Hawks?
Yeah, this is an interesting game, Ski. Honestly, it's playoff season, so I don't want to put too much stock into regular season. But we do know that the Knicks' home road stuff during the regular season really wasn't close. The home stuff was a lot better than the road stuff. Now, all that said, the Knicks have shown us, and this group in particular, with Towns, with Brunson, these guys, that they can go on the road at playoff time and win. So I kind of throw that regular season stuff in the trash. I think they have to find a way to silence CJ. That's 2 games in a row. And they have ways. Ski, you don't have to play Brunson on CJ. And Bridges is there. And I get the idea where, CJ can wait for a screen or something and maybe get the matchup he wants, but you have to try and hide Jalen Brunson from McCollum at this point in time and cut down the amount of Atlanta scorers on the floor. Jalen Johnson's pretty steady. Kaminga was really good off the bench. But CJ's contributions as the leading scorer in 2 games in a row, you have to find a way to stop that and make somebody else or 2 people combined be better than you. I think the Knicks do have defensive ways to have that happen. Going into this building in game 3, though, is a little bit scary for me. Again, I don't think the Knicks are, they're not rattled by any venue and they can win in any venue. But I just think that the Hawks' confidence level right now is picked up a little bit. The Knicks are the better defensive team. They're no question. And I always talk about tempo. And when you have a contrast in tempo, who can control it? And I always lean toward the home team being able, 48-minute game, the majority of a 48-minute game, it should be the host. And majority can be anywhere from 25 minutes to 48 minutes, as long as it's more than half. But the Knicks can do such damage because they're so efficient and there's so many. And to tell you the truth, they're all having pretty good series. The starters are scoring wise. When you look through the 2 boxes, they lost that fourth quarter by 13 points. That's the worst quarter they've played in the entire series. So I didn't play this game. I'll be honest. I see the total coming way down. I don't know that. I don't know. Two schools of thought there, Ski. It's game 3. Everybody knows everybody's stuff. And we know we've done enough playoff basketball together where as these series go longer, defense should take hold. But defense has taken hold from the get-go in a bunch of these series. I do wonder at some point if this doesn't speed up a little bit for the Hawks, where they can get out and run a little more like they're accustomed to, and their home floor would be the place for that. Little I don't really have it in me right now to pull the trigger on over, but I could see an over happening here. I really could, especially if the Hawks get out in front and the Knicks have to chase. That forces the Knicks to move a little quicker. So for me, no play for clients or in my pocket, but slight leans towards a possible over. And the side I just leave alone. I got too many conflicting arguments on this side, Ski, but I do think the Knicks will try to do something defensively. Mike Brown is a defensive minded coach. They'll try to do something to kind of limit what CJ McCollum's been able to do.
I agree. I agree. It's a very, very tough game. I'm going to move over to Cavs and Raptors. Not a lot of movement on the side. The total did go up a little bit from 220 as high as 222. And Thomas Bryant is probable, quickly still questionable for the Raptors. You know, Raptors, I mean, I feel like in the regular season they weren't good versus the winning teams, and they look like they're not going to do anything in this series so far. Ingram has looked terrible. They really missed quickly as well. I don't know if it's just going to change because they're down 0-2 in desperation. I mean, I don't think I trust this Toronto team. The Cavs, the past few years have been so like, how do I say, like disappointing for them, right? compared to what their expectations or their goals are, I don't think they're letting up in these kind of games. I don't think they're satisfied. I think they'll go ahead and just probably even sweep the Raptors. That's how I feel about the Cavaliers right now. What do you think about this one, Vino? Cavs Raptors.
Yeah, a couple of things. Game three, team coming home down 0-2. I mean, the obvious look is toward the home team coming down 0-2 because you go down 0-3, series is basically over. It's also why I had to look up the referees in this situation because when you're down 0-2 and you're at home now, a lot of times the NBA will put the extender on these games and you get friendly home whistles, and that could be helpful to Toronto here. A couple of things fascinate me, Ski, that Kenny Atkinson said they started Dean Wade last game because he is their absolute best perimeter forward. Yeah, perimeter forward defender. And he's bottled up Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's been bad for 2 games now. Now, he said all the right things heading into this one. Going to keep shooting, got to be better, letting my team down, all that type of stuff. But I don't know that, maybe you find a way to score on Dean Wade, but it's just amazing to me that Toronto can't find a way to get him unlocked. Couple good performances the other night out of the other key guys, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, both did their job. I do think they missed quickly. This team was number 1 in the NBA in fast break points this year. They do want to get out and go. Without quickly, they are a little bit different. And Cleveland's obviously different. I had that James Harden points plus assists over the other night. It won again. He's got 32 in each of the first 2 games, been identical. And Donovan Mitchell just keeps reiterating what he said last game, prior to last game, is that James Harden, and it's funny because the old Harden quote is offensive system. I am an offensive system. And it's showing up here right now. Mitchell basically said, I can go stand on the wing. I could go stand in the corner. I could do a lot of things with Harden on the floor because he could take over or he could be an assist guy. It's worked out really well, this trade for them. I'm with you. I kind of don't know that Toronto has the ability to straighten this out, even at home, unless Quickly's on the floor, in which case I think the game could be higher scoring because I think Toronto will push. A game where I probably have my strongest lean towards the Cavs rather than the total. Josh Tiven, Courtney Kirkland, Pat Frayer, the refs here. I don't know. Maybe they do whistle toward Toronto. That's a risk that you run if you play Cleveland here, but I think that's the way I would lean.
All right. We both looking towards the same direction in that one. This next game, we're getting injury news right now. Aaron Gordon now downgraded to, let me just make sure I get it correct. Downgraded to questionable with a calf injury. So not ideal if you like the Nuggets. This one did open up -1.5 for Denver. It looks like 2 right now. Total open 231.5. It looks like 233 or 233.5. Clark, the only person I see, or no, Clark, Edwards, and Terrence Shannon Jr. questionable for this Wolves team. Peyton Watson also out for the Nuggets. Um, Man, a lot going on in this game. Aaron Gordon is a big piece on both sides of the ball. That would be a big blow for this Nuggets team if he cannot go in this game. Um, you know, I like to if everybody's healthy, I'd like to think that the Nuggets bounce back here. You know, um, the way they gave up that game after being up 19 points, then getting called out by Jaden McDaniels. Nobody can play defense. I would like to think that the Nuggets can respond. Um, that Aaron Gordon injury definitely scares me. I'll say, I think, what about this, Vino? We've seen them get called out before. We've talked about this throughout the season, mostly by their coach, right? I remember he said, if we're going to do anything special this season, we're going to have to play defense. They played defense for a few games after that. I mean, I see this kind of similar. I think this will be a lower scoring game. At the very least, we can expect defense from both teams. How do you view it?
They actually played defense for 5 quarters in this series. Um, Now, what you have to ask yourself is, did they play good defense or was Minnesota just running bad offense? because you're watching that game 39-25 after one, and even the broadcast team is telling you, why is Minnesota floating around the three-point line? Why aren't they attacking the rim? And then they go after the rim. They win the second quarter 39-25. Close game the rest of the way, but they get it done. And of course, like you say, Jaden McDaniels. Well, our plan was to drive at Murray and Jokic because they're bad defenders. They're all bad defenders, he went on to say. Now, if you take Aaron Gordon out of that mix, Jaden McDaniels must be the happiest guy on the Timberwolves right now because there's not a defender left. Well, I shouldn't say that because Christian Brown is a pretty good defensive guard. Bruce Brown has been known to play some defense on the perimeter, but I think their point was more like we can get to the rim because there's no rim protection there. And again, it was identified by the broadcast team over and over again. Nuggets have no rim protection. That's not going to change. If guys like DiVincenzo and Edwards and all these Minnesota guys who like to get to the rack can get there and they don't fall in love with the three, they do probably win if Gordon doesn't play. And Aaron Gordon, to your point, when he was out during the season, Skee, they couldn't stop anybody when Aaron Gordon was out. When he came back, they started to play a little bit better. I think their focus will be there. It's a veteran team. And I'll add one more thing real quick. I think the day of rest helps Denver because anybody who watched the fourth quarter, you'd have to agree that every single shot put up by Murray and Jokic was front rim. It's like they were just dog tired, those guys. They could not get anything to go. And it was all front rim stuff. And a lot of Jokic's stuff was easy stuff he makes routinely. Jamal Murray, again, Jokic even failed to take a shot, a floater at the end of the game that generally he'll take, but he passed instead underneath to Brown, and Brown blew one of two free throws. So I think the day of rest is helpful to Denver. Obviously, the injury to Gordon is not helpful to Denver. And Scott Foster is the head of this ref crew. So anything could happen here. I'm not quite sure. But I'm kind of with you here, Skee. I would think that Denver shows a little bit of pride. But all that said, I don't know that pride is enough to stop things. To me, this is funny. I don't know if you're seeing this. Oh, no. Okay. It's coming the other way. Now, I was just seeing some line movement with Denver at 2.5 off of the opener of 1.5, but it's coming straight back down. So it must be just a little bit late on the odd service here. Minnesota's team total could get to the over if, in fact, they find success getting to the rim again. We'll see how it goes, but I don't know that I could trust Denver defensively without Gordon. That's for sure.
Well, I think we both agree that we don't really trust the Nuggets without Gordon.
Yeah. He's so huge.
Definitely, I guess that means we look towards the Timberwolves side. So, yeah, that looks like that will be the show. And let's go ahead and do that good old promo. I'll do a couple, the same couple I probably did yesterday. We'll do the buy three, get three free. Comes out to 6 days for just $69. A good way to get involved. Check either Rob or myself out. If you want to rock with both of us, you can do the double the NBA Court Vision. It's 3 days for just $59. We get both Rob Veno and my NBA plays. So a few different ways to get involved there. And Vino, I'm gonna pass it to you. You know, you're the savior around here. If you have a best bet for the show, the people are dying. They would love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good. And if you have anything else you'd like to promote, feel free.
Don't put that on me this Oh man, we do love the chat and we love the comment section. I got to be honest, guys. I didn't bet anything, and so I'm probably going to be the guy you'll holler at today. A lot of words to tell us nothing. We try to tell you the way we're leaning, but I will say this. Two things here. First one is that I am waiting on the injury report for Aaron Gordon. Because if he can't go, I think I'm going to be there with the Minnesota team total. I do think they'll score, and Denver's probably going to have to match them because they won't be able to defend. But I don't know that as of 2:13 Eastern time, so I won't leave that for you guys. But we broke them down as best we could. If you already had plays coming in, Maybe we helped. I can't leave you a best bet here though right now because I just haven't played anything.
I've only played one play, and like we talked about earlier, it's just not right for me to give that one out today. So sometimes I do when I can. Today's not one of those days. Only looks like I'm gonna have one play for today. So yeah, I played that one. Now I have 5% for tomorrow, but tomorrow looks like a better day. Tomorrow looks like I can play a couple things. So maybe tomorrow we can get back to sharing some best bets on the show. Vino, always appreciate you taking the time to cap these games with me. Chat, we appreciate you guys as well. Um, best of luck, everybody, on all your action. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll catch you guys then.